Welcome to episode 439, Dan Gilbert, 10 Lessons. This is an outline of episode 439, lesson 1 to lesson 5. This is an outline of episode 439, lesson 6 to lesson 10. Lesson number 1, why save Detroit?
To really be one of, if not the leader, of the revitalization of an iconic city.
Well, just like you said, you're a Detroiter at heart. I mean, I'm from Detroit. I was born there. My father was born there. My grandfather was born there. You go through generations of this hearing.
Lesson number 2, 44 years of entrepreneurship. Dan Gilbert is 56 years old now. He began as an entrepreneur at the young age of 12, selling homemade pizza.
It's an interesting story. When I was in 6th grade, I actually had I started a pizzeria out of my mother's kitchen. And I actually we were 12 years old or something.
Lesson number 3, real entrepreneurs don't chase money. He or she likes to build.
See, a real entrepreneur isn't really chasing money. He or she likes to build.
Lesson number 4, how he made almost $500 million during the dot-com days. He sold Quicken to Intuit for $532 million in 1999, but bought it back 3 years later for $64 million. So let us do the calculation. The profit is $468 million.
He said, "You want to buy it back?" And I said, "Okay," and that was the end of it. So,
well, and it's a phenomenal story to see what's happened since you have bought it back, and what a terrific success.
Lesson number 5, culture is everything.
Culture in growing a business is truly everything. I mean, I don't care what your product or service is or what you do. If you have a great culture, things are going to go great for you. And if you have a bad culture, they're not going to go well for you. And if you think you have no culture, you do have one, but it's automatically bad.
Lesson number 6, be contrarian.
When things look the darkest before the dawn concept, right? So, I tend to like to be the contrarian in these things, like Cleveland and Detroit, where we're real involved with. I mean, the opportunity to me is immense because, first of all, there's no one else necessarily looking, not a lot anyway, of people who are looking at all. Yeah, it's just, that's at the bottom, but you want to buy at the bottom and sell at the top, right? More and more and more people have to.
Lesson number 7, he's Mr. Octopus. He's into high tech too. For example, he almost bought Yahoo.
At one point, you were trying to buy Yahoo. Mm-hmm. Would you have moved Yahoo into Detroit?
Well, there might have been pieces of it in the financial technology part. We were interested in Yahoo because of the, it's still to this day, right? When you're looking up financial stuff online, most people still, believe it or not, go in there, right? And
Quicken Loans is actually a technology company. It happens to do home loans. We're really not a mortgage lender. We're a technology business.
Lesson number 8, how to be catalyst of growth of downtown Detroit.
You decided to take your offices that were in the suburbs of Detroit and move them into downtown Detroit.
Yep.
Now that was presumably a risky decision in the view of some. Why did you decide to move all of your employees, or more or less all your employees, to downtown Detroit when Detroit had so many problems?
Don't come here. It was like from day 2, they all wanted to come down because they realized the energy level. Even when I got down there, this is Detroit 7 years ago or 8 years ago, which is nothing like today, but there's something about an urban core and the energy that I never even realized working in. I never worked in one, and it just sort of went from there. But I think we're a way better company.
Right. So how many employees you now have living in Detroit or working in Detroit?
17 or 18,000 full-time
18,000.
Lesson number 9, from a muscle economy to a brain economy.
Somewhere in the last 20 years, 25 years or something, maybe 30 years, it really flipped, meaning it became a brain economy instead of a muscle economy. And the exact opposite type of skills and the exact opposite kind of incentives that were in place in the military-industrial complex exist now. They're still existing, but exist in an entrepreneurial, individualized thinking, brain, innovation, creativity world that we need to compete in.
Lesson number 10, create out of the messy.
Stick.
So it's funny, it's one of my favorite. The spreadsheet, in my view, destroyed a lot of people's understanding of what goes on in the world. So a spreadsheet is a very neat, tidy +1, -1. It's clinical, it's surgical. But when you create stuff, let's use not necessarily my examples, but I'll give you 3 examples. So if you go to an operating room, pretty messy place, doing surgery, right? You go to a construction site and your dad's in construction. A construction site's a disaster. And then an art studio, I mean, you go in an art studio, is a messy place, but then a beautiful thing comes out of it. People who want to think they can create out of tidiness and neatness, that's not the creative process. It's not how things happen. So you have to not only accept failure, but accept that it's messy and it's muddy and it's vague and it's...
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and leave your questions and comments below. Wishing everyone peace and prosperity.